Comes the other way, steps for three, and hit it. Jason Lawhead gives the Spartans a 5-4 lead. Back comes Illyria up top on the inbound. Flips it left side to Lawhead. He'll launch another three and hit it. Jason Lawhead with an NBA three on that one. Gives it deep in the corner to Lawhead for three, and he hit another one. Lawhead with 9 3-pointers.
Hey everybody, welcome to Lawhead's Court. It's me, Jason Lawhead. I'm in my kitchen. Didn't figure anybody would be watching when I jumped on, so why not? I'll make a little bit of coffee, get the little show going here, looking out at the construction and some DoorDash guys. I would never DoorDash. I've yet to DoorDash. I won't DoorDash. I've never done it. I get it delivered to my door all the time because it's, the first townhouse looking out at the street, and a lot of these idiots don't care. And that's the reason I would never DoorDash. Getting a pizza delivered, which I can't remember the last time I got a pizza delivered, but getting a pizza delivered is a different story, right? It comes in a square box. It gets boxed up right there on the line. It gets thrown in one of these little zippery things that keep it warm. It goes in, sits in the car. But a bag of food, man, dude's grubby hands are on it, right? I see these guys. One guy gets out, he's smoking a cigarette. Your car's in a car where there's like a guy smoking and cigarette butts. Just throwing it over there. Probably reached in, grabbed a couple of fries. It's disgusting. So, first off, I don't really eat any of that stuff that you would even get delivered. I'm going to make a little Americano. I don't even get that stuff that you would even get delivered ever, other than a pizza. And I can't remember the last time I got a pizza delivered. There's a little place every now and again we'll go get one. I can't remember the last time I got a pizza delivered. Probably like in Ohio when you're with family and gatherings and like you're just like, let's get some pizzas. I've probably been around for that, and I'm all for good pizza delivery, willing to come out to you. That's a historic business. That isn't some guy that is just sitting waiting for his phone to go off with his hand in his pants at his apartment, running over to pick up your food and then sticking his hands in there and then driving it over in his disgusting, dirty car over to your house, looking around, where it's from, wiping his nose, sniffling, coughing. Sounds appetizing, doesn't it? I would never do that. You could never get me to DoorDash. You couldn't probably pay me. I would have to see. You would have to be on body camera. The only way I would let a DoorDash eat anything like that is you would have to wear a body cam. And I would have to watch you live. I would have to watch all of your moves live. You'd have to show me your hands. Like, here's my hands. I just washed them. I'm like, thank you. Go into the shelf. All right, great. Do me a favor. Wash your hands again real quick, would you? Thanks. Put the food down. Wash your hands again. There's just no way. You could never get me to adhere to that society where just some guy who needs some extra income is going to just bring me food with his hands from his car that I don't know what it looks like at all. I wouldn't even go pick up an Uber to go get food and bring it back in somebody's. It's disgusting. Cook your own food, everybody. Minimalist your way back down to the world, right? You know, you don't need any of these things. You have the things that you need. A reliable automobile that goes to and from, a refrigerator full of good natural whole foods for the most part. You can always indulge a little in moderation, but inside of that refrigerator should just be things that are really good for you, things that are natural, not packaged. That's what you should be doing. Drinking lots of water, making your own coffee, making your own lunch. I think I got one more of these I'm going to go one more time there. So anyway, welcome to the show. It's Jason Lawhead. I'm here. It's Bob Weir week. Rest in peace, Bob. Wearing my Dead and Company shirt that I got at the Sphere. Lucky enough to have seen them on the very first night of the Sphere. Me and my boy, G Stock G. Childhood friends. 50th birthday was the night of the opening night of the Dead and Company in the Sphere 2024. That's almost 2 years ago. That's crazy. Coming up May 2024. This is the shirt, Las Vegas Sphere. Incredible show. And I just assume, you saw Bob during that time, and he was always on social media, lifting weights and working out in between shows and tours and going out and, when they were downtime and doing some activism, sitting on some panels, talking about certain things, environmental, whatever, all of the things that, he was passionate about, and all of the other creative outlets. He seemed to be out and about, and it really was just something you assumed you would see him and them again. And I just assumed I will. I thought I'd see him at the Sphere again and another residence maybe next year or this year or, whatever. My wife and I, we always were like, oh, yeah, we got to go make sure we get to one of those Sphere shows, because she didn't go with me. Or we've been to a few together. We've seen the Dead and Company in San Diego on my birthday in 2019. We went and saw them. I'm sorry, my birthday 2021, right after the first big kind of time people were doing a lot of stuff. After the pandemic, a lot of live entertainment, all that stuff was flourishing. We went and saw him at the Hollywood Bowl, Halloween weekend, my birthday. Got a room at the, we had a blast. We got a room at the Beverly Hilton, just kind of splurged that night, my birthday weekend. Got a room at the Beverly Hilton. We Ubered over to the Hollywood Bowl, came back, had some drinks in the lounge, had a great night, woke up, had a beautiful, brunch in the morning up on the top floor of the Garden Restaurant, looking over. I guess that would be Beverly Drive. What drive is it? Whatever it was, over the Beverly Hilton. Great weekend. So many great memories. Saw the Dead the first time when I was like 20 back in the summer of '93 in Ohio. Jerry Garcia, saw him and them 3 times before he died. I saw him twice in the summer of '94. Once I just started becoming a fan. Went and saw Rat Dog a few times some years later, towards the end of the '90s. And then obviously the Dead and Company. And when that arose, and John Mayer, who I've just become a huge fan of. And the concerts they're just always amazing. The sound was amazing. Bob, he went all the way to the end, sounding great, looking great, performing great. And man, I'm gonna miss the Dead. I think Mickey Hart and Phil Lesh are a couple of the only 2 ones left, I think. I mean, I think that's it. Lesh, it wasn't in the Dead and Company, but meaning just members of the band. And then if you want to, the Dead and Company, I guess, can continue because they're not the Grateful Dead. And I guess John Mayer is a member of the Dead and Company. If they want to keep playing Dead music, I'm all in. John Mayer, you had me at the first time I heard you jam live, and I didn't want to like you, and now I do. So long live the legacy, hopefully. John Mayer, hopefully long live the legacy on to the Dead and Company, or at least some version of something where they go out and continue the great music and the jamming and keeping the hologram and Weir and Jerry. I'm sure that's going to be coming. I'm sure the Bob Weir, Jerry Garcia hologram with John Mayer and maybe Mickey Hart is long overdue. I'd love to see McCartney do that with Lennon and Harrison. Get Ringo up there, Paul, and then do a Vegas show with the holograms. I mean, with AI and all this robot, there's got to be even something that's even better than the hologram. Those holograms probably are so intense if you want to make them that way. That would be cool. I mean, that's eventually probably what's going to happen, right? You know, entertainment's just sour to the point where it's just like, let's just bring back hologram Elvis and have him do, 5 nights a week on the strip. Had a little bit of conversation, right? People are just like, oh my God, it's Elvis singing, moving and shaking in a hologram. They've done it, with everything else. If you've seen the Michael Jackson show at the Mandalay Bay, it's an incredible hologram situation that they've got going on there. So anyway, long live Bob Weir, baby. The Dead, Shakedown Street. Some of my favorite songs I could listen to forever are by the Grateful Dead. And I mean, there's just so many great ones that I think of playing in the band. Shakedown Street. Shakedown Street's just, to me, one of the more perfect songs that have ever been made. And, I know Jerry was on a lot of lyrics on a lot of the older stuff back in the day. But Bob's voice resonates when he's got control and it's his song, man. I mean, they were always good, but he stayed true to it all the way to the end. So anyway, with that being said, cup of coffee, nobody watching, 11:38 and counting is where we're at. It is 4:11 on the Eastern Coast. And what's going on? Right? The NFL playoffs. We saw some stuff last week. I don't think we thought we were gonna see. And it was an incredible wild card weekend. And I said last week on last week's show, it's always the best weekend in the NFL for the most part. Even if there's a couple of blowouts or stinkers, there's always a couple or 2 or 3 that's enough to go, God, those games. Well, we had a lot of them up until the last 2. I mean, those first 4 games were incredible. And a lot of what ifs, coulda, wouldas, shouldas, maybes could have happened, and a lot of different teams could be playing this week. I mean, there could be a lot of different teams playing this week. Jacksonville could be playing this week. Carolina could be playing this week. Green Bay could be playing this week. Philadelphia could be playing this week. I don't think they should. What I'm saying is they played a pretty good football game. Outside of A.J. Brown dropping balls. I mean, he was so bad, he should have had a letter S to his last name. It should be A.J. Brown's. That's how bad this guy played. They didn't play bad. They didn't turn the ball over. They gained as many, the team stats were very comparable. Brock Purdy threw 3 interceptions. Philadelphia didn't turn the ball over. The difference in the game was A.J. Brown probably corralling a big pass or 2 that could have sustained some drives into the end zone. And the fact that even though Brock Purdy threw the 2 interceptions, San Francisco was able to find a way to get McCaffrey in the end zone twice, even though he wasn't running the ball with glaring statistics, whereas Barkley was running the ball well. That's a kind of running game in a playoff game you want to have from Saquon Barkley. If we can get that many yards from Saquon Barkley, have Jalen Hurts not turn the ball over at all, and be sound everywhere else, stop the run on the other end, pick their quarterback twice, we should win that game. Coulda, shoulda, woulda. I mean, we could have won that game, but that's where football is. And the fact is Philly's biggest detriment was the way A.J. Brown played and the fact that their defense fell asleep, on that big wide receiver throw to McCaffrey. They found a way to get McCaffrey in the end zone twice. Philly found a way to not get Saquon in the end zone at all, and that was the difference of the game. So at the end of the day, San Francisco earned it. I don't think Philly played bad. I think a lot of people, probably Philly fans, are pressing a panic button because the regular season wasn't some, piece of, Eagle history like last year was. And obviously they were knocked out in the first round. But to a team that played really good, shorthanded, Kittle goes down, team played really good. San Francisco playing really good. I mean, they played a really good game and they're playing really good. Aside from the 2 Purdy turnovers, that guy is playing really top-level quarterback football in playoff situations. And, when you look at that game and you look at the fact that they go to Seattle where they were just whooped 2 weeks ago or whatever it was, 2 weeks ago for the division, and Brock Purdy got knocked around. He didn't look good. This is a different mindset San Francisco team coming in 2 weeks. I know they're banged up. I know Fred Warner probably won't play either. Kittle out. They do have Trent Williams coming back, and they're a really good team with him at the offensive line. McCaffrey banged up, but a warrior. Purdy playing really out of his mind. And they're getting, great contribution from the rest of these guys. Shanahan does a great job calling a game, preparing for the opponent to play in that game. And right now, Seattle on the table defensively, coming in the way they did, beating San Francisco in San Francisco for the division title and the bye the way they did. They've got everything looking great, but they also have the Sam Darnold factor. And in a big playoff game right now, as much as I wish I was as healthy as them if I'm San Francisco, as much as I wish I had Brandon Ayuk and Kittle, if I'm San Francisco, I also go, I'm glad I have Purdy and they have Darnold. The Darnold effect is one of those things in a small situation that can be the difference in a game, right? I mean, I just explained. Philadelphia played pretty darn good, I thought, and still lost. And that's what can happen in Seattle, especially if Darnold is a guy that's a big mistake away or two from really changing the whole outset of the game and putting San Francisco in a position where San Francisco wants to be and win. And so right now, man, I'm telling you, I like the 49ers in this one. I can't believe I'm saying it on both sides of the conference. I like the 5s and the 6s to play for the conference championship. I'm saying Buffalo at Houston, San Francisco at the Rams. That's what I'm going with. Obviously, to break that up, I like Seattle just playing well enough where Darnold can't hurt them and getting after the quarterback and limiting yards and getting winning the field position game and the time of clock. I feel good probably the most about Seattle breaking that prediction. And secondly, I would say I feel maybe the Bears. But I in the AFC, I think it's Houston and Buffalo all the way. And if Denver's for real, if Denver is ready right now to win a Super Bowl, they're going to have to win this game. That's the game that's going to prove. If Denver's for real, if all of this is on ahead of schedule, if all of this is on or ahead of schedule, whatever it is, Peyton will tell you it's on schedule if they win it. But if it's on or ahead of schedule, wherever they're at, Denver's going to have to beat Buffalo to prove it. I think the way the Houston defense is playing, I think Stroud is going to be much more careful with that football. I think that they are going to allow the defense to dictate the tempo, and they'll let New England's defense, kind of just play its game. They're not going to try to force anything through it until there's a crack in the hull when that defense either makes a big play, scores a touchdown, gets a turnover in an area where Houston's offense can go march right in. That's when I think the Houston offense will start pouncing. If you saw them against Pittsburgh, they kind of just played it, waited till the defense just blew the game wide open, and their defense was their offense in that last, runaway. I think that's the game Houston wants to play, and I don't think they worry about how many times they may have to punt the ball back to the Patriots or settle for 3 points in a situation early where, I think they're going to rely on their defense to make the bigger plays than New England can make. And I see Houston winning that game. And I just think right now, Josh Allen, I mean, I think he knows this is his window. I think this is Josh Allen's, time to show everybody maybe he's the best quarterback in the league. And Patrick Mahomes, you had your run, but step aside because there's a new sheriff in town. And maybe I think Allen just knows. And will he win the Super Bowl this year? I don't know. The NFC is going to present some good teams. Houston's going to have a say about it, especially at home, if that's the case. And maybe even New England. Who knows? I mean, he's still got to beat Denver. I just think he right now knows with that Jacksonville win, that could have went either way. That's one of those woulda, coulda, shouldas. I mean, if the kid doesn't fumble, Jacksonville, Lawrence has plenty of time to get them into field goal range of sending overtime, and then who knows what happens in overtime. So they could very well be home right now, but they're not. And they're not because he's the kind of guy that can just put them on their back. And I think he's ready to be great through the whole thing. And this is the year. There's no big Chiefs or dominant type of Ravens or incredible year Bengals with Burrow away. None of that's there. So I like Bills. I like the 5 and the 6 in both conferences. I'm calling it now. I think somehow the Rams go in there and deliver in the cold weather. I don't think that they are going to be afraid of it. I think, if you can get to Stafford, knock him out, put him on the turf, hurt him, I think that's the Bears' best way that they're going to win this game is knocking Stafford out early or at some point where the game is really close and it's kind of, can go either way. But I don't think they're going to be able to make a comeback like they did on the Packers this week. So that's who I like. That's who I like. And that Texan defense just looks like there's 14 guys on the field. I mean, if they play defense like that the rest of the way, I don't know if anybody can beat the Texans. I don't know if you could even blame Josh Allen. I think he could play the best game of his life and still lose to the Texans. Well, he's not going to play the best game of his life if he loses to the Texans because they're going to beat the Bills because he didn't play. They forced him into not playing anywhere near the best game of his life. So that'll be the whole reason why. But anyway, well, nobody's joining. So why prolong it? Just going to sit in silence for a minute. Think about. Yeah. Caller. Anyway, so that's who I like. Harbaugh to the Giants. I would say Cleveland, hire Tomlin, whatever. Anyway. So, well, that's it. That's all I got. That's all I'm doing. 23 minutes in. Was hoping for a viewer or two. But I guess that's not going to happen. You just go live. I guess I'll have a better show planned for a longer show. I probably will just stop going live and just do a podcast. Maybe I'll just stop going live. So maybe stop going live, do a podcast, and then just, do it as I went live, but be able to stop and resume. Anyway. Well, that's all she wrote. And that's it. Well, thanks for joining me. I'm going to go get other stuff in my life done.